The flashing red and blue lights cut through the night as Officer Carter pulled over a black woman driving a sleek black sedan. His tone was sharp, his stance aggressive. Another routine stop, or so he thought. But from the moment she rolled down her window, something was different. She was calm, confident, and unfazed by his intimidation tactics. "License and registration," he demanded, already assuming the worst. She handed him her ID with steady hands, watching as his expression shifted from arrogance to shock. His grip tightened around the card as he read the name. *** Captain Lisa Monroe, Head of Internal Affairs ***. His breath hitched. His mind raced. This wasn't just any driver. This was the woman who had the power to end his career ***. What happens when the one enforcing the law gets caught breaking it? ***. Tonight, Officer Carter is about to find out ***. Officer Carter felt his pulse quicken. His fingers twitched as he held the ID, his mind scrambling for a way to backpedal. This was the last person he ever wanted to pull over. His usual routine, sharp questions, unnecessary tension, suddenly felt like a trap of his own making. Lisa Monroe watched him carefully, her expression unreadable. She had seen this type of officer before, one who used his badge as a weapon rather than a shield. She had read the complaints, heard the stories, even investigated cases like this herself. But now, standing face to face with one of them, she remained calm. "Something wrong, officer?" she asked, her voice steady. Carter cleared his throat, forcing himself to keep control. "Just checking your credentials." Lisa nodded slowly, her gaze never leaving his. She knew exactly what was happening. What she didn't know was just how far Carter was willing to go to cover his tracks. Carter forced a tight-lipped smile, but his grip on Lisa's ID betrayed him. His mind raced. Had she been investigating him? Had she already heard complaints about his stops, the way he handled certain drivers differently? If she had, this wasn't just a bad night for him. It could be the end of his career. Lisa, on the other hand, was in no hurry. She had seen officers like him before, ones who acted tough until they realized they had something to lose. She studied his face, searching for the moment fear would slip into his expression. And there it was, subtle but undeniable. "You're taking a long time with my ID, Officer Carter," she said, tilting her head slightly. Carter cleared his throat and handed it back, just being thorough. Lisa didn't blink. "Is that what you call it?" The silence between them stretched. Carter's hand hovered near his radio. He could feel control slipping away, and he wasn't sure what he was willing to do to get it back. Carter's jaw tightened. He could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him. Lisa wasn't backing down, and now every second felt like a test. He had pulled her over expecting compliance, maybe even fear. But instead, she sat there, completely in control. It unsettled him. His hand hovered near his radio. He could call for backup, spin the situation in his favor before it got worse. But what would he even say? That he stopped a woman for no reason and just now realized she outpranked him. His mind raced through his options, but Lisa was already 2 steps ahead. "Do you often pull people over for no reason, Officer Carter?" Her voice was calm, but there was steel beneath it. Carter forced a laugh. "Just doing my job." Lisa's eyes flickered toward his body cam. "Is it on?" His stomach dropped. He had turned it off before approaching her car. Now she knew, and in that instant, Carter realized there was no way out of this that didn't end badly for him. Carter swallowed hard, his pulse hammering in his ears. Lisa's question about the body cam hung in the air like a loaded gun. She hadn't reached for her phone, hadn't raised her voice, hadn't threatened him. But somehow she had complete control of the situation. Then, just as he opened his mouth to say something, his radio crackled to life. "Carter, status check. Dispatch." They were watching his location. If he didn't respond soon, someone might come looking. Normally, that would be a safety net. Tonight, it felt like a noose tightening around his neck. Lisa leaned forward slightly, her eyes locked on his. "Go ahead, officer. Answer them." Carter hesitated. If backup arrived, he'd have to explain why he stopped her. Worse, if another officer recognized her, the lie he was forming in his head would crumble before he could even speak it. Then Lisa did something he never expected. She slowly reached into her glove compartment. Carter's hand flew to his holster. She froze, raising her other hand in the air. "Careful now, officer," she said evenly. "You don't want to make this any worse for yourself." Carter's breath caught. He had been the one in control, until now. And for the first time, he realized this wasn't just about a traffic stop. This was about something bigger, something he could no longer escape. Carter's hand trembled near his holster as Lisa slowly pulled out a small black folder and set it on the dashboard. His heart pounded. No weapon, just documents. But the damage was already done. He had nearly overreacted, and they both knew it. Lisa kept her hands where he could see them, her voice steady. "Go ahead. Open it." Carter hesitated, then snatched up the folder with stiff fingers. Inside were reports, detailed complaints against him. Dates, locations, names. Officers he worked with. Citizens he had stopped. He flipped through the pages, his breath coming in short, sharp bursts. It was all there. Every time he thought no one was watching. His radio crackled again. "Carter, status check. Do you need assistance?" Lisa finally spoke, her voice lower now. "I suggest you answer them." Carter clenched his jaw, gripping the radio. His career, his reputation, everything he had built, was hanging by a thread. Then Lisa delivered the final blow. "Because after tonight, Officer Carter, you'll be the one under investigation." Carter's stomach dropped. He had walked into his own trap, and there was no way out. Carter's fingers tightened around the radio, but he knew there was nothing left to say. His silence spoke louder than any excuse he could make. He glanced at Lisa, but she was already watching him with the kind of patience that told him she had planned for this moment long before he even pulled her over. With a slow breath, he finally pressed the button. "Dispatch, I'm clear." His voice was tight, almost hollow. Lisa nodded, her expression unreadable. She took back her folder, tucking it neatly away as if this had all been routine. But they both knew it wasn't. This was a warning, a turning point. Carter stepped back from the car, feeling the weight of everything that had just happened settle onto his shoulders. As Lisa drove away, he stood frozen, realizing that his career, and everything he thought he could get away with, had just reached its breaking point.